Hi everybody, this is Amy from Irigenics, and it's possible that you have just come across the Irigenics eye quiz and you're thinking, gosh, I just cannot see my eyes. So I want to give you just a really fast video to just give you a couple tips about taking your own eye pictures. Now, if you have not watched the video, How to Take an Awesome Eye Photo, please do. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put in a disclaimer that it's dark. We shot it in our house. I'll fess up. We shot it in our house and we didn't have good lighting, and so I will be remaking that video soon. But at this time, it really does give you a very clear, very fast step-by-step instruction on how to take your own eye photos. So where this video is a little bit different, this is about sending in your eye pictures and the difference between cell phone pictures, or even pictures you might take with your 35 millimeter camera that you're sending in online. A lot of programs will automatically take your photos and take them down to 72 pixels. And what happens is very much like when you go to Best Buy or Walmart or wherever and you see like 8 televisions up and they all have the same television program on, but they all look different. And that's because of the resolution. And that's what that 72 pixels is all about. That means it's taking it down to a very small size so it can send over. So sometimes some detail gets lost, and that's what I want to talk to you about just for a minute right now. So first off, congratulations. I think the what are your ancestral psychic gifts quiz is a lot of fun. It is one of the minor, I don't want to say minor, it's one of the smallest aspects of the eyes that we actually get to look at. And it's one where I don't normally, when I'm doing an eye reading, come up with just one thing. I'll say, well, somebody is quite intuitive, but they do have that compassionate connection to other people, or they've probably had some paranormal experience or seen some things they couldn't explain because their eyes show that they have, a little bit different layering. But in an eye reading, I guess what I should say is that part of it would take up maybe 2 minutes, if that. So it is I can say it is one of the minor parts because there's so much more great detailed ancestral information in there. So I'm excited for you to get to take a look at your eyes. Maybe for the first time. There is nothing like a close-up macro photo of your eyes and all the amazing detail in there. It's just an entire universe, and it's really exciting, and it's a great way to make some connection with your ancestors and learn a whole lot about the situations they had going on in their lives that now, it's just like an internal warning system. You go to sign something and your internal intuition says, I don't know. Or somebody calls you a name or calls you out on something and you're revisiting a situation of your ancestors, something you just didn't even really know happened. But it'll happen in your life, in the new times, in a new way. And when you look at it, you can just think back to, wow, what could this have been for my ancestors? And you will usually find it. It's amazing for me when I have people who do know, so I can actually catalog where they know their actual grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, and they know the stories and they can make the connections. And that's what helps me work with people who don't know the stories. And being adopted and not having met my birth parents until I met my birth mother when I was 19. I met my birth father in my 50s. And so for me, now being able to make and finalize those connection points by not having known them as a child and going through all the situations of childhood, early teen years, and even many adult years has really helped me make some of that connection time. So, okay, let me just hop over and I want to show you a couple of pictures. So, let me just take this down for a second. So right here, what I've done, this is a feature on Mac. It's in preview. When you're previewing pictures, you can go into tools. Let me just turn that off quick. And they have some great tools in here for annotating. They have a magnifier. First off, you can magnify the whole eye. You can just kind of cruise around and magnify. Sometimes this magnifier is a little too much. Sometimes I want to see a detail on something like right here from about 10 o'clock down to about 8 o'clock. I want to see that spot. And I'd like to get smaller. I'd like to get a little more finite. This image here from about 11:45 down to about 4 o'clock, and her left shoulder and arm from 1 o'clock running down here to her elbow. I might like to get in there and see if there's even more detail that I'm missing. And especially because oftentimes images and some of the things that I'm looking at in the eyes layer up this guy right here with the hat, like a gold panning hat. Sometimes I want to get in there and I want to look a little bit closer. I want to see more detail, and sometimes I can get more by enlarging, but a lot of times what happens is if you get too big, you lose it. You wind up just seeing black or just seeing brown or whatever you may be seeing. You kind of lose the detail that may be in there. So another option, turning off that magnifier, is in tools. You can go to annotate, and down here is this loop. And this sometimes will give you a cleaner, smaller magnification where you can kind of really come in here and make that eye a little bigger. Bring that ring size down a bit. You can get really, really small, or you can get really, really large. So as you're going through and you're like, wow, I want to see this image here, you can zone in on that. You can highlight and shrink the whole eye. And so there's a lot of great options in here. But what I really want to talk about today is this was taken with the 35 millimeter. This is the exact same eye taken either with a cell phone or with a or possibly with a 35 millimeter camera, but it was sent over in 72 pixels. And so while I can see this mark here is this mark here, this marking up here is here, this rounded is here, you can see I've lost a lot of the detail. Now on the cell phone or on the camera, this would have looked fabulous. This would have looked so detailed and looked great. It would have been a fantastic shot. And why I'm saying that is so when you do your quiz, if you want to take a picture with a cell phone, you'll be able to see your eye. You'll be able to see great clarity. You'll be able to see great imaging. But when you send that picture, please send it at least in the largest possible size format that you can with emails, even if it means using Google Drive. Send it in the largest format possible because I want to see this detail. And while you can see this picture on the back of your computer, this is what I'm going to get most likely being sent over in 72 pixels. Normally we're shooting for 3500 DPI. Let me just look in here, just size. So this one has a resolution of 1534. And it's because when I took it at like, I don't know, 20 inches by 28 inches or something. I took it in a big, 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 big size. But taking the size down now so that I can work with it for your video takes it to a resolution of 1500, which is well over 300 DPI. But as you can see, we're looking at 1.5 megs. So you're going to use up a little bit of space sending it. This one, on the other hand, is 72. Now it does show this high width, so I can resample this and take that down. Let's take that down to 3 inches like this one. It'll take it to 1344, but because the detail was lost in sending it, it does not improve the picture. So once the detail is lost, it's kind of lost. So once again, let's say you're at home and you want to do the quiz and you want to take your own selfie. You can do it this way. Look in a mirror, put your phone to the side, focus on your eye, or even have somebody watch the mirror until your eye is super crisp. Take the picture. As you can see here, she's a little bit blurred. The biggest issue I have with this picture is her pupil's a little bit too big. So normally, when I have people taking pictures, if you've seen the other video, I'm going to tell them to use a mag light or use bright natural lighting. If they use a mag light or pen light, they should bring it from their ear, shining back across their eye. Never into the eye. It should never be in the pupil. It should come across the side, and it lights up all of this wonderful detail. But also sometimes, like in her case, you see how she was holding her cell phone this way. Now she's got enough of her eye that I would be able to see that this is her tear duct and this is actually her left eye. I'd be able to see that in the photograph. But it's really helpful, again, if you use that mag light, then I can tell exactly if it's a left or right eye. I'll show you at the end of this video, but my Mac actually inverts my eyes and inverts my whole face, actually, when I'm recording. So it shows that my blue eye is my right eye, but that's not true. My blue eye is my left. So marking your images when you send them in for left and right is also very, very important. And one more note. So in this case, she's using a cell phone. She could probably do her quiz with this. She could totally do her quiz with this. So please don't feel like you can't do the quiz because you can't see your eyes. But I do want to show you one last image in here. Actually, I think it's probably in this folder. There it is. Let me take this over here, and let me take this here. Okay, so this is my brown eye taken with the lighting from the side. You can see the layers, you can see the detail. Obviously this was taken at very high resolution. It was taken with a 35mm camera, probably a Canon or a Nikon, but nothing exciting like a Rebel or a, what are they, like a D3, whatever. But taken with a Canon or Nikon with a macro lens on it, magnifying it. This was taken with a point and shoot in the back of a car. Now you can see there's some issues with picking up way too much reflection, but I had a friend of mine sit in the front seat and take my picture in the back seat of my eye because the light was streaming through the car windows. And she had just said, wow, I can see all that detail in your eye. This is also something at like McDonald's or Panera, someplace that has a lot of glass windows. You'll be talking to somebody across the table and you'll see all this amazing detail in their eyes. And this is an example of that. This would be very, very readable. I would not like to use this picture for my iMag. I'd rather use this one because I'm putting you on the front cover. I'm making you the centerfold. So I'd want a nice clean picture. But this is a very, very, very readable eye. So just because you've got a little bit of lighting in there or whatever, you're still going to be able to see all this amazing detail going on in the eye, all these markings, all this imagery that happens in here that tells a whole story, telling about your father's experience of your mother's pregnancy with you, your experience with writing or signature documents, your experience with identity and arbitrary control, your experience with the patriarch figure, your experience with expression, not being heard, not being listened to, escape, having to break away. And again, as you see with that extra side lighting, you see how deep these markings are, maybe even compared to this picture, which mostly had bright front lighting with a little bit from the side. That side lighting is what really shows you the depth of the 7 layers of the iris. So enough about that. I just want to give you a real quick preview in case you're about to take the quiz or you took it and you're like, gosh, I really couldn't see my eyes. This is just a really great way for you to really be able to get the detail of your eyes, even on your own, even with a mirror and a cell phone. Just know that sometimes when you send those pictures, your best bet is just to send them to yourself and then look at them on your cell phone and look at them on your computer screen and see how different they appear. Because that resolution of the phone is always going to show you the resolution of the phone. But just send them to yourself, open up the email and take a look. And if you can see all the markings, we're good to go. Once again, thank you so much from Irigenics. You can find the link to the YouTube channel down this center column. Even if this information changes here, I will keep the link to the YouTube channel and how to take a photo down here. And there is also over here, you can go into YouTube. You will need to type in Irigenics completely and type enter. And then in the videos, you will find here a 5-minute video on how to take an awesome eye photo. And this will really give you the step-by-step if you're working with a friend and how to light up your eye and how to get your eye open. Those kinds of things, those little details that you may be having some challenges with. Welcome to the amazing world of Irigenics Ancestral Eye Reading. I look forward to meeting you and your ancestors. Namaste.